It is pointless to resist.
This is not good.
I can't hear you.
This is not good.
I can't hear you.
Those pods must not fall into rebel
What's
hands.
up guys,
Capture
Manta
them
here.
immediately.
Hello and welcome to my first ever voiceover commentary video. This video is about Star Wars Battlefront, and its aim is to provide you with a few useful ideas and combat tips to up the level of your game, improve your kill-death ratio, and hopefully to make you a more complete and competitive player. Some of you may consider this to be fairly basic knowledge, and that is exactly what it is intended to be. So without further delay, buckle up and let's get on to it.
É bem, dá-lhe.
Number 1. Key Bindings Remap.
Vais-me explicar.
This was perhaps the change that made the biggest impact altogether, as I could react quicker and much more instinctively after remapping the star card keys to more strategic locations. Getting used to the new bindings only takes a few rounds, and before you know it, it will be second nature. By default, the game comes with the card keys mapped for 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this was how I played my first games. It did not go too well. To be honest, I was never good in using these keys to change the cards, as I kept taking my fingers off the directional WASD keys and constantly getting killed in the process. Therefore, I decided they had to be remapped to my right hand instead, which means to the mouse hand. Please note that you will need to own a mouse with 2 side buttons at least to accommodate for this. Okay. As you can see here, the first and third star cards were mapped to the mouse side buttons, and the charge card, which is the middle one, was mapped to the mouse scroll button. You middle click it. As for the battle pickups, previously mapped to number 4, I chose to assign it to Q. Here it is easy to use and to press rapidly when you require to do so. So by using this method, the star card keys are way more accessible for playing the game without having to move your left hand upwards constantly. This means you become a more effective fighter with much quicker response time as well, and that makes a world of a difference. Number 2. Awareness. Use your senses. To begin with, you need to be aware of where you are. So getting familiar with the maps and with what leads where is pretty vital in this game. Get a decent notion of the map areas so that you can better position yourself defensive and offensively when you need so. Use your senses, but also use your common sense. So avoid the open field with few to no places to hide, and try not to stay too long on corridors or passageways with many access points, as there will be multiple locations for the enemy to take shots at you. Check the minimap as much as you possibly can. I cannot stress this point enough. Use it at all times to anticipate the arriving foes and to prepare and position to face them as best as possible. Keep your ears on full alert to enemy footsteps, voices and sounds around you. Remember that not everyone shows on the minimap, so ensure that you always check your corners and stay vigilant. Also, please note that enemies many times verbalize to one another or to themselves while in battle, and that gives away their position. So be attentive and use this to your advantage. Number 3. Aiming and crosshair placement. As you already know, being this game a shooter in essence, Star Wars Battlefront is a lot about aiming. Remember that your shots land right in the middle of the screen, where the crosshair is, regardless of its shape. So to begin with, you always should keep the crosshair placed in the vicinity of where you believe enemies will be coming from. Try to place it around where the enemy head or torso will be at. Using the minimap and your perception, once the crosshair is in the right place, you just need to start shooting once the enemy does pop up in front of you. Generally, firing from the hip is good enough to secure kills. However, there are instances on which aiming down the sights is beneficial, especially when you are firing with long-ranged weapons. Please note that shooting the blaster from the hip allows you to move freely without slowing down your pace or losing accuracy, as opposed to aiming down sights makes you move slower. Also remember, when shooting moving enemies, to aim slightly ahead of them, allowing the laser enough time travel to the target. This will require adjusting depending on the fire rate of the weapon and the distance you are to your target. Number 4. View and camera toggle. This topic is very much connected to the previous one, but also very much so to the one following. I have played a few competitive shooters before, and I have always played them on first-person view mode. However, when given the choice to play on third person, I gave it a try. After a few rounds, I had no doubts at all. In this particular game, I believe you are better off playing on third person view rather than on first. This is much because the field of view is broadened and thus allows you to place yourself better in regards to obstacles, cover, and incoming enemy fire. Also, try using the camera view toggle button. It is a very useful tool when peeking from behind cover to your left or right sides. If correctly used, this allows you to aim without your body being in the way of your sight, and also allows having yourself concealed when doing so. This practice reduces the area that enemies can shoot at and may very well save your life, as it has saved mine many times before. Number 5. Movement and positioning. The main idea here is to keep moving, at all times. Everyone loves a sitting duck to shoot at, and you shall not be it. Get used to shooting while you are moving, especially strafing sideways. This reduces the chances of your enemies hitting you, as opposed to moving in a straight line, which is a much easier route to predict. Be mindful of where you are and move from cover to cover as much as you possibly can. Move in and out of cover to engage enemies. I highly recommend using the jump pack to quickly shorten distances, reach higher grounds, and attack, retreat, counter, or escape enemies. It is generally an invaluable tool to use in this game. Also invaluable is being mindful of where you place yourself when you are shooting at someone. Make sure you are not standing in the middle of hallways or shooting from where people can easily shoot back at you from different places. Make yourself a difficult target as much as you possibly can. Rolling is another thing that I need to mention, and one that may very well change the face of the game, unless there is a patch, of course. To be honest, I do not use this much. However, I must say it does make it a lot more difficult to shoot down anyone when they are rolling around and jumping. Number 6. Hands and loadouts. I always use 2 completely different sets of star cards on my 2 available hands, meaning that neither hand has the same cards as the other one does. This is because once you use a card and it goes for a cooldown, if you die in the meantime, when you respawn, that card will not still be available. If you have 3 different cards on your other hand, once you respawn with that hand, all the cards will be ready to use straight away. Also, having 2 completely different sets of cards in my 2 available hands allows me to have 2 completely different playstyles that I can use in every game, and thus a wider range of possibilities to surprise my enemies. I do change the cards that I'm taking to battle depending on the game mode and the blaster that I'm using. Also, remember that you can switch between the blasters and hands every time you die, so that you can quickly change the approach to the fight. Number 7. Adaptability and multitasking. As in most competitive games, adapting is a key component on making you a successful player on Star Wars. This means you need to decide on the best available circumstances for you and what favors most your playstyle and your loadout. Most maps have areas specially designed for close, medium, and long-range combat, and it is up to you to know where it is best to hang around, considering your own situation, the weapon you carry, and the cards you bring. Choose your battles wisely. Flank enemies as much as you possibly can, and try to only engage when you are prepared to do so and when you are sure you have enough time and space to wipe them out. If you are not prepared, try an evasive maneuver or use cover to make time to regain health or to counterattack. Evaluate constantly what to do. Keep in mind that you can walk instead of sprinting or stop so that you do not show on the minimap. Get used to multitasking. Capture objectives while moving and shooting down enemies. Adapt your approach if you are facing multiple enemies. Always shoot first anyone shooting back, facing your way, or dangerously close by to you. If the enemy was not alerted to your presence, try to shoot first the ones coming last and then move forward. This requires real-time adaptability, quick decision-making, and quite a bit of multitasking as well. Number 8. Battle Pickups. Ensure that you use them wisely. If there are features in this game I do not particularly love, this is one of them. Not only I think it promotes needless competition between teammates, which is not ideal, their presence on the map also encourages a style of gameplay which is not best practice in my opinion. Anyway, since the pickups or the power-ups are in this game, my best advice is to make good use of them where relevant. I say where relevant because I believe we've all seen a good number of pickups being wasted or used with no criteria at all. A good share of droids lost in the woods, stationary weapons discarded everywhere, and believe me, these are very, very useful when correctly used, and even orbital strikes used against infantry when the AT-AT was exposed, and it could have been taken down. I mean, I don't get it. On another note, guys, if you are playing Drop Zone, for instance, you should make sure that all the pickups are taken or used by your team, because if not, the enemy may use them to turn the match around. Number 9. Teamwork. Teamwork is a key component. Unfortunately, some players seem to be unaware that this is a fact. The partner, if the game provides you with one of course, is more than a moving spawn point to be used. I see a lot of players spawning on their partners only to wander off to some other location on the map, not helping the partner or the team in any shape or form. Staying near your partner and team provides more chances of survival. You can cover and help each other when engaging enemy forces or defending objectives. Regarding objectives, please resist the urge to run towards them blindly. Check the vicinity, and if there are teammates already capturing it, instead of running towards them, cover them from the incoming enemies. This will help way more than bumping against teammates or getting in the way of them or in the line of fire. Also, always allow space to move, especially when in confined areas. It is very important to have enough space to move to get back behind cover when enemies are shooting at you. Number 10. Play the objective. Last, but not by any means least, play the objective. This is something that I should not even need to mention here, as it should be obvious and instinctive, right? Or is it? I mean, I've seen many players hang around the outskirts of maps, not doing much, acting like a bunch of zombies or just camping out on some high area or merely shooting at the scenery. I've also seen many players only interested in getting kills and not playing the objective. To you I say, you do know that if killing is all you want, there's a mode for that? It's called Blast. Go check that out. All in all, this is a team effort, guys, so we should be working together as best as possible for a common goal. As such, please play the darn objective, or help whoever is doing so. Thank you. Okay, and that was it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments below if you think that I should be doing this sort of video from here forward or not. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, share this video with all your friends if you want to. Take care, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and may the force be with you.